I'm your host, Pensyfan 19, and welcome to the April 2026 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news read which covers most of the major writing headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First up, there seems to be a bit of confusion regarding one of the many events held for America's upcoming 250th, notably the American Freedom Train, or AFT, as website info claims that the AFT was cancelled earlier this month due to a lack of corporate sponsors and trackage rights. However, the engine poised to haul this train, Reading 2100, is still under active restoration by the American Steam Railroad and will most likely be under steam in its AFT 250 livery in the coming months. To clarify the situation, there won't be an AFT 250, similar in nature to the original American Freedom Train in 1976, excursions and exhibits and all, but Reading 2100 itself will be restored in an America 250 livery at some point this year, thanks to ongoing restoration from a separate group. But luckily, a much larger America 250 tour featuring Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014 was finally announced, as Union Pacific released a detailed schedule of where the Big Boy will be during its East Coast tour, including exact days, departure times, and locations. The most notable legs of this trip will be during June 13th and 14th, where it will travel down the Reading Blue Mountain in Northern with Reading 2102, with this leg projected to have the highest attendance throughout the run, followed by the 15th through the 30th, when 4014 will stop at Steamtown at Scranton. Eventually, 4014 will be in its destination city of Philadelphia on the 4th and 5th of July, south of the yard next to Lincoln Financial Field, where I'll most likely catch it, before returning on the Reading and Pennsylvania main lines, where it will finally pass Horseshoe Curve in Altoona on July 11th, just after 9 a.m., with this one spot projected to have the highest attendance as well. So with all that in mind, be sure to stay safe and plan accordingly if you're going to catch this engine, as this will likely be one of the highest attended railfan trips in steam preservation history, and the perfect way to celebrate the biggest anniversary of the United States of America. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Norfolk Southern led a Union Pacific OCS on their trackage, while the same railroad led their own OCS to the Masters Tournament. CPKC released a documentary on 2816's North American Rail Tour named Pulse of the Continent. PBS Chicago is to air a TV show about Chicago's railroad history named Riding the Rails with Joffrey Bayer. Grafton and Upton F7 number 1501 is for sale. Apple CEO Tim Cook is to be replaced by John Turnus. InnoTrans is to host an AI hackathon. BBC and Ration Railway swapped liveries on two of their EMUs. Italo is to purchase Siemens Volaros to challenge ICE by extending into Germany, with their rendering changing from red to blue after a few days. Renfe has cancelled their plans of high-speed service to Paris. RegioJet is to exit Poland due to losing hope and faith. Sweden is to purchase a Schnabel railcar built by Kiruna Wagon. OEB has purchased Intramotive hoppers, thus being the first European railway to purchase the technology. Lazzarini is making tram seats 100% from recycled materials, while Hubner is making tram fabrics made from recycled fishing nets. Sao Paulo has opened Line 17 after 12 years of construction, along with the driverless Aeromovel A200 at the same airport. Virginia has mandated two-person crews for all freight trains in the state. Washington Metro is to automate the Red Line while installing platform screen doors. MBTA placed their MBB observation coach into OCS service. Amtrak has placed multiple America 250 stickers on various ACS 64s and ALC 42s, with one of them having their sticker removed only days later. Metro North released their America 250 livery on a P32, reminiscent of Erie Lackawanna's bicentennial livery. Amtrak is to sue Metro North due to the commuter railroad not giving them enough track space or time to test the Avila Liberty train sets, and Railmark Holdings is to operate their own passenger services, possibly in a similar nature to Iowa Pacific's Hoosier State. In regards to follow-up news, REM Phase 3 is to open on May 18th, which is the same day as KC Streetcar opening their Riverfront extension. The ERTMS Trackbot started service in the Netherlands. COCO was the selected name for Amtrak's Colorado Front Range passenger rail service, and Texas DOT gave a 90-day notice to Amtrak that the Heartland Flyer could be discontinued due to its emergency funds expiring on August 31st. You can learn more about this situation and who to contact regarding this news in the article from Texas Rail Advocates. In other news, New Haven Union Station is to have a new canopy built on the platforms. Mumbai Metro opened their Line 2B and Line 9 extensions. Turkey has reopened their rail connection to Syria. Vietnam Railways is to be restructured, while Trenes de Buenos Aires is to be privatized. FS Logistics has acquired CFI. Martinez and CRRC are to enter the American locomotive building market. NASA went around the moon for the first time since 1972 with their Artemis II mission. Romanian Railways is to purchase a Siemens Miro HMU. Portland streetcars to purchase battery-powered CAF Urbos trams. Stadler Tina trams are to be delivered to Gorlitz and Zwickau. Clip Intermodal has received the Trax MS3. Indian Railways Vande Bharat Freight EMU is to start testing soon. The Grand Tenku Luxury EMU has started service on the Nankai Electric Railway. SNCF refurbished AGC dual mode MUs have entered service. OBB 1216006 has been repainted to celebrate Rocco's 66th birthday. RJ Corman released their America 250 livery to be applied on their GE wide cabs. Ohio Central Railway has repainted an SD60M into an Operation Lifesaver livery. The NCTM has reserved an Aberdeen and Rockfish GP7, while the Toronto Museum of New York acquired a SEPTA Bud M3 Almond car. And Rail Exco has preserved the cab and 2 coaches of the Amtrak RTL Turboliner set stored in Cedar Hill Yard for use on leased passenger excursion service. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is what Pan Am is known for. And now, the top story of the April 2026 Pensyfan Periodical is Amtrak releases long-distance car interior renderings. Just weeks after announcing that single-level long-distance cars would be replacing the superliners, Amtrak released a press video showcasing interior renderings of these new long-distance cars, with a proposed 800 cars intended to be purchased for the West Coast long-distance routes. These renderings showcase brand new designs for coaches, sleeper cars, and observation cars, notably with wood panel interiors, reclining seats, and the option for a single-person sleeper car room, all of which received much praise from transit enthusiasts and Amtrak travelers alike. Although a builder will be announced by the end of 2027, I predict that Siemens would most likely be constructing these cars due to their similar shape and interiors to the existing Siemens Venture coaches on several Amtrak Midwest and California services. But if Amtrak decides to not give all their work to Siemens for some reason, Stadler would be my next guess based on their work with luxurious interiors in Europe. It would also make sense if Amtrak chose the same builder as the Via Rail long-distance fleet procurement, seeing how their exterior and even interior designs look fairly similar, and also coincidentally look like Siemens Ventures, which both railroads just so happen to already roster. Although at the same time, the Canadian Passenger Railroad recently announced that they will be refurbishing their existing Bud, Chateau, and Manor class sleeper cars for the Canadian and other non-corridor passenger services, once again being an example of Bud don't break. But back to the Amtrak. I, like everyone else, absolutely love the designs and can't wait to see them enter service soon. But I would also recommend still keeping most of the superliners on the roster that these cars would replace, especially for the sake of having extra cars to expand existing services or to create entirely new Amtrak services with the extra cars instead of simply scrapping them, given the equipment shortage that Amtrak has been facing for the past few years now. Also, given the widely positive reception of these rail cars, it would also be a good idea to keep the positive traction going by spreading the word of these new rail cars to several non-rail fans and policymakers, so this way people are aware of the many great things that Amtrak has in store in terms of rolling stock, and to give people a reason to continue supporting and funding Amtrak, especially considering current budget proposals. With all that said, I'm glad to see that Amtrak's new rolling stock renderings received overwhelmingly positive responses, as I and countless others can't wait to see the next generation of luxurious long-distance passenger cars finally roam the rails of the West and beyond. Now the only question is, what route do you think they'll enter service on first? Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it'll be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.